Hello, and welcome to the Veteran's Voice. My name is Joe Armstrong, and I'll be your host for today's show. Are you or someone you know a child or grandchild of a Vietnam veteran? 22 million gallons of herbicide were sprayed in Vietnam during the Vietnam War. Many Vietnam veterans are passing away prematurely or are seriously ill due to their service connected herbicide exposure during the war. Vietnam veterans have voiced their concerns about their offspring having many types of birth defects and serious illnesses that have no prior family history. Vietnam veterans have reported their wives and partners have had multiple miscarriages. The U.S. government refuses to fund the needed research for children and grandchildren of Vietnam veterans who have debilitating birth defects and illnesses. Currently, the U.S. government acknowledges 18 plus birth defects in the children of female Vietnam veterans. Only 6,000 to 8,000 served. They are quick to state these birth defects were caused by women's service in Vietnam and not herbicide. Well, if that's the case, what caused the birth defects? I find it very interesting that our government states that it's because our women veterans served in Vietnam and not due to the herbicide exposure that caused these birth defects. When we all know that if you spent 1 hour in Vietnam, you're exposed to the deadly herbicides, regardless of where you served. Currently, the U.S. government acknowledges only one birth defect in the children of male Vietnam veterans. 2.8 million men served. They acknowledge spina bifida, not occulta. What can you do? It's easy. Get involved. Write your representatives supporting research and compensation for the children and grandchildren of Vietnam veterans who suffer from birth defects and illnesses related to the Vietnam veterans' herbicide exposure. Talk to families of Vietnam veterans about Agent Orange and herbicide exposure. Join this COVA email list to stay abreast of current issues and articles at www.covvha.net. COVA is short for Children of Vietnam Veterans Health Alliance. COVA has gathered and published a database of over 600 illnesses the children of Vietnam veterans are currently dealing with on a daily basis, and the list continues to grow. COVA has created a private support community for children of Vietnam veterans. COVA has created a public support community for the caretakers of Agent Orange survivors and widows, wives and partners of Agent Orange groups. COVA is educating the population on the very current issues surrounding Vietnam veterans and their families. COVA is working closely with others in hopes of forcing the Veterans Administration to recognize the birth defects and illnesses in the offspring of male Vietnam vets and their families. Today's show, we'll be talking about and showing a video on an organization named the Agent Orange Legacy Foundation. The Agent Orange Legacy Foundation is advocating for the services, support, and rights for the children of Vietnam veterans exposed to Agent Orange and their families. The Agent Orange Legacy Foundation was founded in 2007 by a widow of a Vietnam veteran, Sharon L. Perry, and their daughter, Dee Reeves. Dee has been plagued and has suffered from unexplained illnesses most of her life. She continues to suffer from debilitating muscle spasms, which have left her disabled, and rated as a helpless child by the VA. She also suffers from 28 illnesses and was recently diagnosed with gastroparesis, hiatus hernia, intestinal pseudo-obstruction disorder. Dee currently waits generic testing and is a viable candidate for Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, or EDS. What is their mission? Agent Orange Legacy is dedicated to improving the lives of the children of Vietnam veterans and families of veterans exposed to Agent Orange that are falling victim to the legacy of birth defects, some known and many more not yet identified, chronic illnesses and pains, emotional and behavioral disorders, learning disabilities, developmental disabilities, and other conditions as a result of their parents' service in Vietnam and exposure to toxins such as Agent Orange. In 2012, even with all her disabilities, Dee traveled to Washington, D.C. and testified before the Institute of Medicine's 9th Biennial Agent Orange Update Committee meeting on June 28th. Agent Orange Legacy offers a closed support group for families of veterans exposed to Agent Orange. If you'd like more information on the foundation, please email Sharon at aolegacy@gmail.com. We will now show a short documentary.
My name's Danielle. I'm 30, and my father's name is Reuben Charles Perry III. My dad, he was my whole life. He was my best friend. He passed away June 3rd, 2005, unexpectedly due to a massive heart attack where his heart exploded in his chest. He was 56. I carry the Vietnam War on my shoulders like I was there, and I wasn't there. And I shouldn't have to carry that, and nor should any child of a veteran have to carry that pain and that scar on them. It's been burned into me. And I have to live with it every day because of the illnesses that I do have. I have spondylolisthesis, spondylolisthesis, conversion disorder, arthritis, bulged discs in my back, hip dysplasia, cervical dysplasia, gastritis, vertebrae that are fusing together, torticollis, major depression. I believe I'm sick due to my father's service in the Vietnam War and Agent Orange because there is no explanation. I have the back problems and the muscle spasms. Sometimes I can't sit up out of bed, but for me to go buy a bed that would sit me up and that would have heating, I can't afford that. I can't even work, and what you get on disability isn't enough to barely make it by. What I would want is for there to be programs out there with doctors who are educated in the effects of defoliants and herbicides and these chemicals that they use in war and the effects that they can have on the soldiers and their children and their grandchildren and every generation to come after that. A place to get help, a place where you can go where the doctor doesn't look at you like you're crazy because you say, I have this and I think it's because of the exposure that my father or mother had during their service in this war. I think that it's time that they stand up and they take responsibility for what they have done to Vietnam veterans and their children and the Vietnamese, what they have done by spraying these chemicals day in and day out for the rest of my life. I've got to live with this, and so will my daughter. We're the ones that have to pay. You're the child of a Vietnam veteran. It's time for you to stand up and join Agent Orange Legacy at www.agentorangelegacy.com. Join us now.
Dee is only one of thousands of children that are suffering from illnesses and disabilities that we believe is due to our Agent Orange exposure. I am often asked, is presumptive service-connected Agent Orange disability compensation available to biological children of Vietnam veterans born with a certain birth defect? And the answer to that is yes. The children of Vietnam veterans who are born with a birth defect may be eligible for compensation, free medical care, and vocational rehabilitation services. Who is eligible? To be eligible for these benefits, you must show three things. One, you are the natural biological child of a Vietnam veteran. One of your biological parents served in the active military, naval, or air service in the Republic of Vietnam for at least one day during the period of January 9th, 1962 to May 7th, 1975. Number two, you were conceived after the veteran parent first began service in Vietnam. And three, you were born with a birth defect listed. For a complete listing of the illnesses, send me an email at president@vva1044maine.org, and I'll send you a copy. Proof of the parent's exposure is not necessary. These children are entitled to three types of benefits. A, monthly compensation payments based upon the degree of the child's disability. B, VA medical care or reimbursement from the VA for private medical care for medical problems related to the birth defects. And C, vocational rehabilitation services. If you are a child or a grandchild of a Vietnam veteran and have a medical condition not listed, file a claim and attach a medical opinion if possible. Though your condition is currently not recognized, it may be at a future date. How do you file for a claim? The procedures used by the VA for this type of claim are generally the same as those used to handle a veteran's claim, but a special application, VA Form 21-0304, is used. Such children are generally not required to undergo a VA medical examination. I'll be honest with you and tell you right up front, your claim is going to be denied, but it will be in the system should the illness or disability be approved at a later date. In addition to service-connected Agent Orange disability compensation award noted above, the VA also offers dependent allowance to children of veterans who have been rated with at least a 30% service-connected disability. Children of veterans who are rated with 100% permanent disability also are eligible for educational assistance and health care under a separate VA program, CHAMP VA, the Civilian Health and Medical Program of the VA. This program covers dependents and survivors of certain veterans who are ineligible to receive health benefits under the Department of Defense TRICARE program. Check with the Veteran Service Officer who can explain all this to you. Service officers can be found at any of your veterans organizations, such as the VFW, American Legion, AMVETS, DAV, Vietnam Veterans of America, or at your local vet center. I know we presented a lot of very important information here today, and it's probably hard to follow, so if you'd like a printed copy of today's show, email me at president@vva1044maine.org, and I'll make sure you get a copy. Thank you for watching The Veteran's Voice. I'm Joe Armstrong. Until the next time, don't give up the good fight.